Hello and welcome to our training segment on using VES to look up accounts to read various details on the account as well as services that are pending and the name of the person that added the services to the account. So first and foremost, we need to log into the VES tool. Once logged in, you want to go underneath the search tab. And then as you see, you'll be able to look at your accounts by subscriber ID, name, phone number, address, or email address. And you can fill in multiple items, or you can just fill in just one item and let it search that way. So we're going to look for a test account that I created a while back that's underneath my name. Now, you'll notice when you're searching by names, if multiple people have that same name and you are, seeing all of those accounts, then you're going to have to pull it up by address, or you're going to have to pull it up by an account number or something like that, because you'll have to pick it out of that list. So first couple things we want to discuss about this screen. As you can see that my name and my account number is in purple. So that means that I'm a prepay customer. Am I a prepay customer because I didn't meet the credit requirement, or am I a prepay because I have an account freeze on my credit? So we can see here in the account notices section that the account is frozen pending a credit check. That generally will tip you off that this customer has a freeze on their TransUnion credit. The next thing that you'll see is customers on a limited collection plan. So generally, if you see this by itself, you know that that customer didn't meet the credit requirements. So that's basically what I look for in the notices section. Now, the next section that we see is the outages. So if you wanted to see different type of outages that are occurring in this customer's LCP that might affect them, those outages will be posted here. One thing to always pay attention to is the number of entries that are under each little section that you're looking at. So if this says 1 and 2 and 2 shown, we can see both of those. But if this is a larger number to where it's not displaying all of these, I'm going to come over here to where the 5 is, and I'm going to click that drop-down box, and I'm going to change it to all. The next section that we're going to look at is the info section. So here you'll see the subscriber's name. You'll see the current balance. So if the customer has a balance, you'll see what that balance is to be able to advise them of how much they owe for their bill. You'll also see the LCP number for the area that they live in and what LCP it's in. And you'll also see the terminal and the TAP number as well. You'll see the account was created by. So in this case, we can see SSU, which means the account was created on Metronet's website. So this customer signed up online. You'll also see the active and billing. So it is an active account, which means you can just go back and basically apply the services to it. You don't have to recreate the account. You'll also see if the billing address, if I wanted my bill to go to a different address than my house, you would see that address listed here. And you can see the physical address of the customer, which is the address that the service is being provided to. The next section we come to is the contacts. So we can see that Rob Bartley's a contact. We can see his cell phone number. We can also see that he opted out of the texting. So, he will not be receiving any text messages from the system automatically. Keep in mind, it is good for customers to take the text messaging, because that's how they're going to be reminded the day before their install from the Metronet system, sending them a text message. The next thing we'll see is an alternate phone number or a text or a fax number, and then we'll see the customer's email address, and then we'll see what kind of a customer it is as far as a contact. This one is the primary. Now we can see that there's only one that's shown. If we did want to create, say, the customer's friend or wife or anything like that, we can click the plus sign here, and it'll allow us to add an additional contact. So if we click our drop-down box, we'll make an authorized user. We'll name this one John Bartley. We'll put a phone number. and then we'll click Submit, and you'll see that it'll add that contact onto the contact sheet here. So now you see that there's a John Bartley, which is an authorized user on the account. So you always want to make for sure when you're trying to contact the customer to try to contact the primary first, then you can look at the authorized users. Now, one thing is if you made a mistake, you can always click this and it'll take you back in to edit it. Or if you don't want that, you can click the X mark. It'll confirm whether you want it deleted. And then once you click yes, it'll take that contact off of the account as well. The next section we'll talk about is the customer portal. This is how you can tell if your customer has signed up for the online portal to where they can do their e-statements or their auto pay from a bank account or a credit card. Their information would be listed in here. As you can see, this customer did not sign up for the online portal yet. If he did, then you would see a username and whatnot in these lines here. Our next section we'll talk about is going to be invoices. Now, I use this section quite often, especially if a customer calls me and they're asking any billing-related questions or anything like that. I can see what the new charges were, what the invoice was, if there were any payments or credits on that particular invoice, and I can also see the date of the invoices. Now, you can see here that we've got basically 1 through 3 of 4 shown, which means there's another one. So we'd want to click this and click the All button, and it'll display all of those bills, and then we'll see that 4th one. This link here, if you click on the invoice ID, it will open up a secondary window, and it'll show you that customer's bill. So the nice part is you can walk a customer through their bill with the same thing. You know, you're looking at the same thing that they're seeing to make it a lot easier to explain to them. The next section we'll talk about is the documents. So the document section is important because if you ever want to go back and you want to see, you know, what you quoted a customer or resend something, you can always do that. Now we see that there's 5 total and we're only seeing 3, so we'll change that to an all. So we can see on 8/2 of 18, when this order was placed for the customer, we can click this and we can see that it was an internet service and the price, the technology fee, and the total. If we look, we can see that another order was placed or something happened on 12/26. If we click this, it'll take it in there, and it's going to show us what was done and what was quoted. So this time it was a standard TV, 100 meg internet, and you can see all of the totals there. So it's a nice way to go back and look at past quotes, orders, anything like that in this document section. The other thing you'll see in the document section is if this customer was installed, you'd see that the work order was in there. So it's a nice way of just gaining some additional information. The last section is the comments. Now the comments section, this is all of the account notes. So you can see that on 12/5 of 18, okay, the account status was set to frozen. So they froze the account, and then somebody updated the billing address, and you can see that the credit report run within the last 6 months. So this customer would have to have the credit reran if they wanted to sign up for services, is basically what it's telling you. Now we can see there's 31 shown, so we need to change it to all, and we can look at all the various little account notes that have gone on with this account. Okay, so you can see, as an example, here it says that it needs the credit check done, the manual process. So you can see that I signed this account up on 8/2 of 18. You can see that there was an installation that was canceled on 8/2 as well. And then you can see on 8/4 it flagged again for the credit check to be ran. Here you can see the DSA manager calling in to change order for an install, and you can see that they put the account notes in there, and then you can see that B. Ruzick is the one who did that, and you can see the date and time that they did it as well. The last thing we don't see that's on the summary page, and it usually shows up right underneath the account info, is the activities. The activities is a nice section because any activities such as an install will show there. If there's a drop berry schedule, it'll show there. If there's a repair, it'll show there. And it'll show the date and time for the activity, meaning the technician to come out to complete anything as far as install or repair. The next section that we're going to talk about is the services section. So if we click on the services tab here, this is where we would normally see all of the services for a customer. What we'll do is we're going to look up another account just to pull in those services, just so that you can see what it looks like to have an account where you have services installed and you can see all of that. So what we'll do is we will look at this account, which is a test account here. And when we go into the services, let's see if we got any services on this account. Because it is a pre-sale, and you can see that up here. So the services may not actually be on there just because we can see that the customer's on limited collections, okay? And we can see that there's no services on here. So let's check one more account. Actually, let's do this, because I do know that there's a Bartley in Lexington. So let's take a look at this account real quick, and let's look at the services here, because you can see that he's active, and there's 3 services that are active on the account. So we'll go right to that services tab. Sorry for the delay in my internet here. It looks like it's running a little bit slow. Okay. So now we see our services. So we can see that this customer has internet, and that's the only service that they have. What I generally do is I generally go over here to the I button to show all, and it expands out all these services and all these boxes at one time. The A, you can always see, is an active service. If this had a P in there, that would mean that it's a pending service. If it says I, then that means it's an inactive service. So in this case, you can see that the customer's on the gig for $49.95. We look down here, we can see when it started. Okay. We can see the promotional period. We can see how much the monthly reoccurring charge is. We go down a little bit further, we can see that the agent, that's who sold that service to that customer, and that's who's getting credit for the sale. We go down and we look on this right-hand side. We see that the billing fee is there. Okay, so this customer has not signed up for the e-statements, would be my guess, because you're seeing the billing fee there. But then you see a billing fee credit here of $225. So now that tells me the customer did sign up for the e-statements. That's why these are coming off. You see that the customer's ONT is registered to the account. You see that the customer is also paying the technology fee as well, which every customer pays for. So if you need to ever see anything to do with services or see who's getting credit for a service or anything, you can do it off of the Services tab of the VES. Hopefully that helps you to understand a little bit about the Details page and the Services page of VES, and that concludes our training.